The two little guys. Once upon a time there was a shoemaker. It was not his fault that his business continued to decline day by day. His last remaining inheritance was a piece of leather just enough to make a pair of shoes. At night, he sat down to measure and cut, planning to sew them into shoes the next morning. Being kind-hearted, after cutting, he calmly went to bed. As soon as he laid down, he was snoring loudly. The next morning, I was about to sit down at work when I saw the finished shoes sitting on the table. I was surprised. I didn't and #39 understand why he did that. Picking up the shoe and looking at it, he saw that the shoe was beautifully made. The stitching was careful, clean, without any flaws, as clean and beautiful as a master craftsman and number 39's work. Not long after, someone came to ask to buy it. Customers think the shoes are so beautiful that they pay more than the normal price. The shoemaker used that money to buy enough leather to make 2 pairs of shoes. At night, he sat down to measure and cut, intending to sew the next morning when he was awake. But like last time, I didn't and #39 have to bother sewing. By the time I woke up, both pairs of shoes were finished. The shoes were so beautiful that there was no shortage of people wanting to buy them. They paid him so much money that he had enough money to buy leather to make 4 other pairs of shoes. At night, after cutting the skin, he went to bed, and the next morning he saw all 4 pairs finished. The story continues like that. At night he measured and cut the shoes, and in the morning they made them into shoes. Soon he became well off, eventually becoming a rich man. One evening, on the eve of Christ and number 39's birth, he sat down to cut shoes. Before going to bed, he said to his wife, "What do you think? Today I and number 39'll stay up all night to see who helped me so enthusiastically." My aunt also agreed. The two of them covered the light and then hid in the corner of the house, hiding behind a pile of clothes hanging there to lie in wait. Exactly at midnight, 2 tiny people, very cute-looking, naked, came and sat at the cobbler and number 39's table. They pulled back the pile of cut leather, then hurriedly kneaded and sewed it, their tiny fingers moving the needle and thread so quickly that the shoemaker was surprised and opened his eyes wide. The 2 tiny people worked diligently until they finished sewing, then stopped, put the shoes on the table, and jumped away. The next morning, the aunt told her husband, "It turns out the little guys did the work for our house. We must thank them properly. These guys are so pitiful, they go back and forth like that without any clothes to cover themselves, they have to endure the cold. Do you know, let me sew each of them a shirt, a jacket, and a pair of pants. I knitted each of them another pair of socks. Let and number 39's make each of them a pair of small shoes." Uncle said, "Then I really like it." By evening, the gifts were finished. The 2 of them placed the gifts on the table, where cut shoe leather was arranged every day, then lurked to see what the 2 little guys would do with those gifts. At exactly midnight, the little guy jumped in, intending to get to work immediately. "But you Don and number 39's see pre-cut leather, you only see stacks of cute, small clothes." At first the 2 were very surprised, but then they showed great joy. In just a blink of an eye, they were dressed and put on their shoes. They liked it so much, they used their hands to caress their clothes and sang, "Dress up politely." Ask someone and say it. And number 39. S.A. Shoemaker. The two of them walked low and high, danced happily, they even jumped on the table and chairs. Then they walked, danced and pulled each other out the door and disappeared. Since that day I haven and number 39. Seen you guys again. As for the shoemaker, he lived comfortably, had work to do, and everything went well throughout his life. The poor staff. Once upon a time there was a poor maid, she was very diligent and clean. Every day is the same as any other day. After sweeping the house, she scoops out the trash and dumps it in a large pile of trash in front of the house. One time, in the morning when she was preparing for work, she saw a letter. Because she could N and #39 read, she put her broom in the corner of the house, then gave the letter and asked the homeowner to read it to her. It was a letter from the Little People, who invited the girl to come down and deliver the baby. The girl wondered what to do. Hearing everyone and number 39's coaxing and advice not to refuse such things, the girl agreed. 3 little people came to take the girl to a mountain cave where the little people lived. All the objects here are small, beautiful, and irreproachable. The mother and number 39's bed was made of polished black ebony inlaid with pearls. The blanket was embroidered with gold thread, the cradle was made of ivory, and the bathtub was made of pure gold. The little people invited the girl to stay with them for 3 days. She lives happily and happily. The little people pampered her very much. Time passed, and when they said goodbye, the little people gave her a lot of gold and led her out of the mountain. Returning home, the girl wanted to get to work immediately. She holds a broom and sweeps the house. At that moment, someone came out of the room and asked her who was sweeping the floor. The 3 days she spent with the little people in the mountain cave were 7 years. Her old master passed away while she was away. A deformed child. There was a mother whose beloved child was taken away from her cradle by the little people and replaced by a baby with a big head, eyes wide open and foolish, knowing nothing but eating and drinking. The mother didn't and #39 know what to do, so she ran to the neighbor to ask. The neighbor advised you to cook water with 2 eggshells. When you put the eggshells on the stove, the deformed child will laugh. If he smiles, it means it and number 39's over. The mother did everything exactly as the neighbor said. When the eggshell was placed on the stove to boil water, the deformed child said, "I am as old as the forest and have never seen someone boiling water with eggshells." And he burst out laughing. At the same time, a large number of tiny people appeared, and carried the deformed child away. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.